Ladies and gentlemen, please have your notes out. We are going to finish the Bill of Rights today, and we are starting with Amendment number 7. That would be 7. S-E-V-E-N. So we're starting with the 7th Amendment, and then we are going to cover the 6th Amendment after that. So get ready, set. Good morning, everybody. We are at the, is this Painesville? Painesville Gazebo, right?
Painesville on the Square.
Painesville on the Square. Don't know what that building is, but if you turn around, oh, look, there's the First Congregational Church. Across the street is the Painesville City Hall. Look at that pretty wreath, all decked out for Christmas. That building, Mr. Hamilton, do we know what that building is?
It's apartment building.
Apartment buildings on the Square in Painesville. Rock on. And next door to that is the old post office, which is now, right there, a probate court. And then, oh, look at that. It's the Lake County Courthouse. So, boys and girls, if you ever get a speeding ticket, isn't that where they go?
That's where they go.
That's where you're going to go. You're going to go right in this building.
Or if you're generally arrested.
Or if you're generally arrested. Yes, correct. Then you're going to go into this area in Lake County. It's a very nice park. So it's very scenic. Unfortunately, if you have to go to court, that's never a good thing. So if you go, oh my gosh, Mr. Hamilton! Oh my gosh, I just hit Mr. Hamilton with my yardstick. Oops, this is not a good thing. Mr. Hamilton, are you okay?
No, I'm not.
What can I do? I did not mean to do that on purpose, I promise.
Get away. Isn't Lake Easter out here somewhere?
Lake East, that was a hospital that is long gone, has been around for a long time. Oh my gosh, Mr. Hamilton, I promise I did not mean to hit you. I did not mean to hit him. I swear I didn't.
7 weeks later.
Ooh, 7 weeks later. 7 weeks later. 7 weeks later. Mr. Hamilton, what on earth?
Oh, you did it again, Grau. You did it again. My head hurts. My face hurts. I lost a tooth.
But it was just a yardstick.
Yeah, but you hit me right across the face. I think I was concussed. I'm seeing things. Flashing lights. Why? Did you do it again, Grau?
Lies, Mr. Hamilton.
Oh, I am taking you to court. I am taking you to civil court, and I'm taking you for everything.
You're gonna sue me over hitting you with a yardstick?
Do you know how many bills I got? Do you know how many damages I have because you couldn't control your yardstick?
Oh my gosh, Mr. Hamilton's taking me to court. What kind of court are you taking me to?
I'm taking you to civil court, and I'm suing you.
Civil court. Ladies and gentlemen, get your notes out. Here's the difference between federal court and civil court. For example, federal court is when you go to court and you are in a court case that is you versus the federal government. That's like big-timey court. Civil court is when you go to court because somebody else, another person, is suing you. So it's person versus person. So federal court is when the government is against a person, and civil court is when a person is against a person. And that city hall right back there in Painesville is where the civil court cases are held in our county. So apparently, I guess Mr. Hamilton is taking me to civil court. Mr. Hamilton, I hope I don't get Judge Judy, because Judge Judy handles civil court cases.
Well, look at all these bills. Look at all these bills. Just the doctor's bill, the ambulance bill.
It was just a yardstick.
Chiropractor bill. I had to go see an eye doctor. I had to get a new tooth put in.
I like how you just got a speech impediment with your tooth, but not before that.
I was in so much pain. I had to miss time from work, and I'm still concussed. 7 weeks later, I get little glitches in my memory, all because of you. I've got between the...
Why do we have to go to court over it? Can't I just pay it off? It's probably what, like $50?
No, radiology, $1,500. Doctor's bills, $24,000. The emergency ride in, another $12,000. Chiropractor, another $1,500. It all comes to $83,212.
I don't want Judge Judy handling this case. She's relentless. She's not going to be nice at all. Mr. Hamilton, so you said how much is it?
$83,212 summed up, and I need that money for all the damage you incurred.
Woohoo! At least I don't have Judge Judy, because according to the 7th Amendment, the 7th Amendment says in civil court cases, that would be in a civil court case right there, in civil court cases, you have the right to a trial by jury if the damages exceed $20. Now, $20, we're talking old-timey, Revolutionary War time $20. In today's terms, it would be the equivalent of around $75,000. And because Mr. Hamilton's bills ended up being
$83,212.
That means it exceeds that $75,000 amount that is equivalent today. So that means since I am going to court, get a jury instead of a judge deciding my fate. Thank goodness, because I need 12 people to make that decision, not some judge that's listening to his pity over here and sympathizes with him because he got hit with a yardstick and all of a sudden determines that he has got all these problems.
You weren't the one hit by a yardstick. There's an emotional toll, too.
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, people, all kinds of frauds out there, all kinds of frauds. So, in the 7th Amendment, Mr. Hamilton, what does the 7th Amendment mean?
7th Amendment means that in cases over $20, and that's back in old times money, currently $75,000, if two people take them to court, you get to go to civil court and you have a right to be judged by a jury.
So, 7th Amendment, this is only regarding civil court, not federal court. Only civil court where a citizen is suing another citizen. You do have the right to a jury only if the damages exceed more than $75,000. 7th Amendment. Anything else about 7th Amendment?
No, but I'm in pain.
Here, come over here very quickly so that we can get to the next part.
Okay.
Lies! I'm totally going to expose him in court. I will.
6 weeks later.
It's 6 weeks later because we're talking about the 6th Amendment in the Bill of Rights. 6th Amendment, 6 weeks later. 6.
So here I am, just minding my own business, walking down the street, and lo and behold, whose car do I see in the distance? Why, it's Mrs. Grau. And, well, her car is getting a little bit closer and closer and closer. And wouldn't you know it? She took me out again. This time I need 911, but this time, she's definitely going to court. Luckily, she has a right to a speedy trial, so I can see her put in jail right away.
What is speedy trial?
Speedy trial means that you're... Speedy trial means that the government can't hold you.
What is speedy trial again?
Speedy trial is where the government can't hold you in jail forever until they take you to actual trial. They got to bring you to court within a reasonable amount of time.
So, in the 6th Amendment, the first right, there's 6. I ran out of fingers. I have 5 plus 1. In the 6th Amendment, your first right is the right to a speedy trial, which means the court process must handle your case as quickly as possible. That doesn't mean it has to be super fast. It just means they cannot let us sit there and not deal with it. Once you are accused and you are taken to court, they have to continue trying to resolve your case until it's done from start to finish. So, 6th Amendment, speedy trial is... wait a second. He's got the remote to the car. I think you're the one that ran over yourself.
Why? It was a big old car that ran me over.
Perfectly fine.
I can't just sit here in the park and play with my remote-controlled car. Is there some law against that?
No.
Speedy trial. You have got to take me to court within a reasonable time. You can't make me just sit in a jail cell for years and years and years.
Look, he's holding the Mr. Hamilton of himself. Oh my goodness, why am I at court? I don't even have a clue. All I was told is that I had to go to court today because of something having to do with Mr. Hamilton. I haven't seen him in forever. Here comes the judge. Maybe the judge can tell me why I'm here.
This is the case of the state versus Emily Grau and the attempted vehicular homicide against one Mr. Hamilton.
He has got lots of muscles. But wait a second, Judge, what on earth am I supposed to have had? What did I do? I haven't even seen. What do you mean I am attempted or accused of killing or trying to kill Mr. Hamilton?
It appears you attempted to run over Mr. Hamilton with a car, and you've been accused of attempted vehicular homicide.
No, I was already taken to court for that, and I was proven innocent a long time ago. This is double jeopardy if you take me to court again for that time.
Unfortunately, this is a brand new crime, so thus it is not double jeopardy. He was hit again.
Oh, this is not me. I did not do this. There's no way I did this. But at least according to the Sixth Amendment in your second right, you have to be told what you're accused of. So thank goodness the judge is letting me know why I'm at court and what I'm accused of doing, because this is insane. So we have speedy trial, which thankfully I won't be in this mess for forever. And the second right is
that you have a right to know what you're being accused of.
So you have the right to know what you're being accused of. So at least I know what I've done, but I did not do this. I know. There's video the last time that showed that I ran over Mr. Hamilton because he wouldn't show me what was in his bag. But I swear, I promise, I did not do it this time. It was not me. But, Judge, what am I going to do? How do I don't know what to do in court. How do I know what I'm supposed to do?
The court has appointed a lawyer for you.
A lawyer? Ooh, that must be the third right in the Sixth Amendment. I have the right to a lawyer.
Well, hello. I am your court-appointed lawyer, and we are going to make sure that we get all these charges dropped against you immediately.
I'm a little bit nervous. He looks a little bit blocky. I hope he's not a blockhead.
None of these charges against you hold merit, and I think we have the evidence to prove that you are not guilty.
You have the right to a lawyer. If you can afford one, one will be appointed to you. And unfortunately, mine came all the way from Minecraft. Here's my lawyer. What is your name?
Joe.
Joe. Lawyer Joe is going to help me get off because I promise I did not do this to Mr. Hamilton this time. I swear it was not me.
And there I was that morning. I had gotten out of my car and I just started slowly walking to the school to start my day to teach my kids. And then I quickly looked to my left and there comes this blue car. And this blue car speeds up and I look into that blue car and I can see her angry eyes as she speeds up and she runs me over again.
Mr. Hamilton's developed a really interesting accent for today. Whoa! Put somebody on the stand and all of a sudden they get all different. Lies.
That's what happens when you get hit multiple times by a car, Mrs. Grau.
You couldn't even see it. I was not there this time, Mr. Hamilton. I promise.
Well, there'll be more witnesses to tell you that you ran me over.
Witnesses? What are you talking about, witnesses? I wasn't there, so how can other people even know? What do you mean, witnesses in court?
Well, Mrs. Grau, you understand under the Sixth Amendment, you have a right to have your own witnesses and to know the witnesses that are against you.
What do you mean, witnesses? What does a witness do?
A witness is someone who has seen the actions and the, I don't know what to say next.
Okay, let me help you there. Because I think, oh my gosh, I just miraculously figured out what a witness was. A witness is someone who supports your idea or your story. So when you go to court, it is one thing to have one person's word against another, but the more witnesses that you have that can give other details about the crime helps the jury or the judge determine whether somebody is innocent or guilty. So in this case, apparently, even though I did not do this, apparently there's other people that are here to say that I did because they saw me also, and then I'm going to get the opportunity to find people to support my side. So in the Sixth Amendment, your right number 4 is the right to know the witnesses against you. They can't just show up in court and say, aha, you have some random witnesses that are going to talk and say how bad you are. They have to tell you who those people are so you can cross-examine them. And your fifth right is, my thumb disappeared, I didn't see it. Your fifth right is that you also are allowed to have witnesses to support you. So it can't just be somebody else's word and all these other people. You can defend yourself by having character witnesses for yourself. So, my lawyer, tell me who's coming to support Mr. Hamilton, because I was not there. So anybody that's supporting him is lying.
There was one Mr. Mater that was in the vicinity that saw you hit Mr. Hamilton and caused so
Did you
much
say
damage.
mayor? Like Mr. Mayor?
Mater. Mr. Mater.
Like the car?
Like the car witnessed such a violent act. Saw you run over Mr. Hamilton.
Oh, this Mater dude. I don't believe this dude.
Boom, the bell tolls.
It's dinging. Oh, that's the longest bell ever. Anyways, we're not waiting for that. So, in the Sixth Amendment, your fourth right is to know who is going to be a witness against you. And apparently, our first witness in the court against me is this rickety old piece of junk called Toe Mater, not Mr. Mayor. I was mistaken, but they clarified that because we have the right to know who are the witnesses against us. So let's hear what Toe Mater has to say. Lies.
Well, hello there. My name is Mr. Toe Mater. And while I might not have been in the vicinity of that crime, I do know that Mrs. Grau hit Mr. Hamilton one time because he would not show her what was in his backpack. And we all know that if she did it once, she gonna do it again. I think she guilty.
Oh my goodness. We're listening as a witness to a talking car who's supposedly going to be one of the deciding factors to put me in jail for doing something I didn't do. I did not do this crime. Thankfully, our fifth right in the Sixth Amendment is you have the right to have witnesses, supporting witnesses, witnesses to support your side. So my first witness is going to be our forensics analysis to show us the evidence that proves me innocent.
Well, while examining the evidence found within the car, all we could find was a bunch of Pepsi bottles, a bunch of chocolate wrappers and Reese's, one middle school administrator's badge, and some fingerprints. Definitely some of Mrs. Grau's, but some that were definitely unidentified. That's what we found evidence-wise while looking through her car.
Whoa. That is way better than Toe Mater. At least we got solid evidence to support my side, because I swear, people, I did not do this. I did not hit Mr. Hamilton again. I admit I did do it the first time, but not this time. And there's no evidence of that. Pepsi bottles, chocolate, fingerprints. Oh, good gracious. This is not going to go well for Mr. Hamilton, because I didn't do this. So, thankfully, in the Sixth Amendment, you have right number one, which is...
the right to speedy trial.
And the second right is...
The right to know what you're accused of.
And the third right is...
The right to a lawyer.
And the fourth right is...
To know the witnesses against you.
And the fifth right is...
Do you have your own witnesses?
So you've got lots of stuff that you can take with court. And thankfully, that's going to help get me out of this mess.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Now, if you are accused of a crime, kids, you have a right to an impartial jury.
This is the sixth right in the Sixth Amendment.
And you're going to need to know how to spell impartial. I-M-P-A-R-T-I-A-L. And an impartial jury.
Impartial jury. I-M-P-A-R-T-I-A-L.
All right? A jury of your peers, that means people from the local community that decide whether you are guilty or not. There will be 12 of them.
12 people on the jury.
They will hear the evidence against you, and then they will have an opportunity to converse about that evidence and identify whether there's enough evidence to convict you of the crime.
And if there is, then they determine whether you're innocent or guilty.
And then they can determine what your sentence will be.
Thankfully, you have the right to a jury, because it's a lot better to have 12 people decide your fate than it is to have one judge that might or might not be biased. And we've talked about bias this year, so we don't want a biased jury. We want an impartial jury, which is the opposite of biased. So in this case, here is our jury of 12 people. There's all 12 of them from all different walks of life. And they are going to determine whether or not I am innocent or... Ah, they're falling over!
Are you threatening the jury members already?
No, they don't like the wind in Paynesville. So, our jury of 12 people.
Mrs. Grau, I think that's a sign. I believe that is truly a sign of whether or not you were guilty or innocent. It is the song of heaven is raining down upon us.
Oh my goodness gracious. We did not. My eyes were watering. That was not planned. Clearly, we did not know they were going to start playing Christmas music in the middle of the.
They don't play Christmas music in the middle of a trial. It's 9:08. What do they have this set up on?
Oh my goodness. So, in the Sixth Amendment, your sixth right is you have the right to an impartial jury. And thankfully, I do have an impartial jury who will find me innocent because I do not drink Pepsi. I'm a Coke person, cherry Coke specifically. And I don't like chocolate, so there's no way I would have Reese's peanut butter cups in my car. And
Admin.
yes, I am not an administrator at the middle school. Even though I have my administrator's license, I do not have a little identification card that says administrator. So there's no way it could have been me that ran over Mr. Hamilton this time. It might have been my car, but I was not the driver. And while it is not traditional to have a court case end with background music, today, unfortunately, it is because we cannot control the sound of the Christmas music in the gazebo, and it's too cold to move anywhere else. So the jury reconvenes, and while they looked very intense and not quite sure, we can't read their faces and determine whether I will be found innocent or guilty by this unbiased judge. But I better be found innocent because I did not do it this time.
We, the jury, in the case against one Mrs. Grau, find her not guilty as charged.
Woo! Not guilty! Not guilty! Haha! I did not do it. I told you, Mr. Hamilton, I did not do it.
But you've already hit me one time.
That doesn't
I know
mean-
you did it.
That doesn't mean
every
when
time I see you with a car right now, I'm gonna. Oh, I better just put bumpers around me and stuff.
Mr.
You're gonna hit me.
Hamilton, you ought to know, being a teacher, that when somebody does something once doesn't mean they're going to do it again and again and again.
But you want to see what's in my bag, and you're just gonna keep hitting me until you see what's inside of my bag. I fear you.
I'm over it. But listen, think of the evidence. Pepsi bottles. There was
Chocolate wrappers.
chocolate wrappers. I don't drink Pepsi. I'm a Coke person, cherry Coke. And I don't like chocolate at all.
And there was an administrator's badge.
Administrator's badge. You know, who else would be the only person that's an administrator that isn't liking the fact that we're not in school?
Mr. Brady!
Mr. Brady did it! So, let's recap our Sixth Amendment. What are your Sixth Amendment rights, Mr. Hamilton?
You have a right to, to know what, oh my gosh.
You have a right to know what you're accused of.
You have a right to a lawyer. You have a right to have witnesses for you and witnesses against you. You have a right to an impartial trial. And we already missed one. You have
Impartial
a right to
jury and a lawyer. Oh my gosh, let's do this again.
Let's do this totally
You
again.
have the right to
a speedy
it's
trial.
The music. Woo!
It's the music.
Dance, Mr. Hamilton! It's Christmas music! It's so distracting.
You have a right to a speedy trial.
You have a right to a speedy trial. They cannot take you to trial and make it last forever and ever and ever.
You have a right to know what you're accused of.
They have to tell you what you did. It cannot be a surprise.
You have a right to a lawyer.
Meaning you have somebody to represent you that knows the court of law and can help defend you and go through the evidence the way they should.
You have a right to know the witnesses against you.
There can't be any surprises. They have to tell you who is going to stand up as a character witness against you.
You have a right to provide your own witnesses.
You can get people to support your side, so maybe you can help defend yourself better.
And you have a right to an impartial jury of your peers.
Which means you have 12 people that decide your fate that do not have any biases against you. Comfort and joy. Sixth Amendment.
And joy.
Which is here to protect you at all costs, should you need that protection. So, I think we're gonna go because the music is getting a little intense and we can't talk over it. So,
And it's freezing.
6th Amendment, 7th Amendment, 7th Amendment in civil court cases. 7th Amendment in civil court. You have the right to a trial by jury if the damages amount exceeds $75,000. So, 7th Amendment is...
7th Amendment means you have a right to a jury in any sort of civil cases that exceeds over $75,000 in damages.
And 6th Amendment, we've already gone through that. So, we've now completed the Bill of Rights, and you have now gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5...
6, 7, 8, 9, and
10. Which is the Bill of Rights. Your assignment is the same as usual. Watch the video, attach your notes, take a picture, attach
Good
it,
notes.
make sure we can read your
Zero
notes.
notes.
Turn it in and we'll grade it. Until then, enjoy the holiday music. And we are out because Mr. Brady did it.